Contemptuous world, embrace the breath of extinction!
How heavy is that? Light work with the bass on the track, on my feet to the back like I'm taking a slap. I need a drink, but it's straight from the tap. And I'm hating the slack, couple miles around.
Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video. So today we're actually going to be talking about more PvP stuff, and mostly I cover a lot of PvE related stuff, but we're actually going to talk about some PvP stuff today. Just because I've had a couple people ask for a breakdown on specifically arena placements. And that's fairly complicated, but also simple at the same time. And you'll understand what I mean when we get into it. So, for example, this is the order for a CC team that I currently have. Now, I have 3 teams here. Yeah, 3 teams. I have a CC, I have a Cleave, and I have a Bruiser. The whole point of these teams is to counter specific portions. So like CC is supposed to counter a Cleave, or CC is also supposed to counter Bruiser. Yeah, CC counters Bruiser, Bruiser is supposed to counter Cleave, and Cleave is supposed to counter CC, or something to that degree. But it gets a little bit more complicated when you get into the actual characters. But what we can do is we can actually talk directly about the orientation of these characters. So, for example, my CC team here consists of Meva, Christina, Cannon, and Dahlia. Now, this team is very specifically placed because of how the order of turns go. So, hypothetically, let's say on this side, they are using a Demi Vlada. Alright? So, Demi Vlada does her S3, her big AoE. Hits everybody, does her damage. Then she triggers her S2, which is that passive effect. Boom, hits everybody with that S2 passive effect. Now what would happen is Meva would now cleanse everybody and then heal everybody using her S2. Christina would then be able to buff everybody with an attack and a defense buff. And then Cannon would then counterattack and hit the thing with the most attack on their team. And then hit it really, really hard. And then Dahlia's there to freeze whatever is left, because Dahlia is very fast. I don't understand why they made Dahlia as fast as they did, but Dahlia has 182 speed right here. But her EE gives increase to speed, which is anywhere between 30 to 50%. I don't actually know the number. If it's 30%, 30% of 182, which we can just safely round to 200, just for easy math sake, you get to 200, 30% is 260, which is absurd. 30% is crazy, 50% is crazier, because then that would be at 300, which is just absolutely bonkers to me that they made her as fast as they did. But at the same time, it's also kind of nice. And this isn't even a max speed Dahlia. Like I could maximize this speed so much more. But the order that what happens is with turns is it goes, the slot that Meva in is your first slot. Then the slot that Christina is technically your 2 slot. Then Cannon is your 3rd slot, and then Dahlia is your 4th slot. That is the order in which passive effects are triggered, like Gnosis Dahlia counterattack, Cannon counterattack, Demiurge Stella Revenge, Meva Agile Response, Nella Agile Response. Things like that are in that order. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Now, what could happen is, let's say there's another Meva on this side, and something happens at the same time, and it would basically cause them to proc at the same time. Just hypothetically, let's just, in imagination world, pretend that both of these, well, this slot and this slot, because this is their 1st slot, this is their 2nd slot, this is their 3rd slot, and then this is their 4th slot. It's just yours, but scooted over. They don't mirror it or anything else. So let's just say that there's another Meva here, and now both Mevas will use their agile response at the same time. Well, then it becomes whichever one has the most speed. Whichever one has the highest speed in these slots, they get to use their ones first. And it's actually kind of funny considering how she works with her S2. I love this because it inflicts seal extra skill, which I think is absolutely funny because I think if I'm not crazy, I feel like that would also stop the other Meva from being able to do anything because it would seal the extra skill. So I think whichever one would go first would actually stop the other one. So it will trigger in the 1, the 1, the 2, the 2, the 3, the 3, or the 4 and the 4. And then it goes based off your speed. So that's why my CC is set up this way. Cleanse, buff, counterattack. My cleave is set up this way because what this means is it means that my Demi-Vlada hits, does her attack, and then immediately after that my Nadia is able to do her effect, and then Charlotte's able to do her effect. And I'm just going to show you, this is what the purpose of a cleave team is supposed to be. You really have those three between Bruiser, Cleave, and CC. Those are basically your three main types of PvP team. Like this team, because I'm in still kind of lower ranks, this is kind of the basic team you're going to see. You're going to see a tank character, you're going to see heal character, and then you're going to see 2 DPS characters. Realistically, you're just going to cleave right through it like this. You're just going to hit everything really hard. Then you're going to proc her S2, which is going to hit everything else really hard. And basically everything's dead. Nadia's going to proc her S2 because I did a big AoE. Charlotte's going to proc her S2 to make Demi-Urge Assay go a little faster. And then I can do this with Charlotte. Boom. She does some damage. And realistically, everything is dead. That's roughly what a cleave team is supposed to do. Within 2-3 turns, everything dies. That's how cleave works. You're just supposed to hit something really, really hard and call it a day. I'm just going to auto-combat this one because this is just a Faerun. This is just going to be really quick. 2300. Bam, 4300. Nadia, attack, boom. All those debuffs. S2 gets procced. Bam. You see how this team works though, right? This is kind of your cleave team. You're proccing S2s. You're proccing passive effects to basically chain everybody's attack together. Now, if I was a bold man, I'd go after this middle team. This middle team is fish food for a CC team. This is a very good CC team. The problem is my CC team is really bad because I haven't really, my Christina equipped, this is what my Christina looks like right now. This is what my cannon looks like right now. My cannon needs revenge gear, or not revenge gear. The defense one, patience, I think is what it is. The only one that's set up is Dahlia and Meva. Dahlia and Meva are the only ones that are kind of set up. These two are severely lacking. But I wouldn't be a good content creator if I wouldn't at least try. Yes, there's an 80,000 CP point difference, but that doesn't matter. So this is nice because it freezes. And then it also does not trigger counterattack, revenge, or agile response. So we hit everything with this. Boom. Everything's frozen. Not everything, apparently. But cannon's able to come in. That's going to hurt a lot. Alright. And agile response. Now, the reason why that happened was because of immunity gear. If that Meva didn't have immunity gear, I would have been golden. But I lose here. 110% I lose here. Just like that. Surprisingly, Christina and Cannon are still alive. I won't lie. I'm actually kind of impressed that they're still around. There's the invulnerability, and then there's the attack and defense buff. Realistically, Cannon could technically just solo this. If I'm being blatantly obvious. Cannon could solo this. But because they have a cannon as well, realistically that's not happening. Yeah, and that's Gnosis Dahlia. This is Gnosis Dahlia's world. We're just living in it. But you could see how that would work in the right circumstances. Now, this team, this middle team, Christina, Gnosis Dahlia, Nadia, and Akari. This is a pretty... I don't know. I would say that this is kind of a CC team because of these two. These two are kind of very good at kind of control. Akari's good at slowing you down. Nadia's good at putting those annoying debuffs on you that are just going to will you down. Gnosis Dahlia hits hard. I guess it's kind of a mix of a CC and a cleave. So realistically, you could just out-cleave them if you really tried. If you really wanted to try. Or you could try to CC them back. Or you could try to bruiser them. It's really up to you. This one, Cannon. I don't remember her name. I'm sorry. Val and Gnosis Dahlia. This is a CC team if I ever saw it. I'm going to try again. I'm hoping that I can show you guys what it looks like as long as my Dahlia gets to go first. My Dahlia did not get to go first, so I lose. Oh, wait. I might not lose? I don't actually know. Depends on speed tier still. Oh, the cannon. I forgot about the cannon. If the cannon didn't kill me there, that would have been fine. We would have been just fine. But the cannon absolutely one-shot me and murked me. Yeah, and then the Valentine gets to go again. I don't exactly understand how Valentine works in PvP. It seems to be very confusing, but their team is just getting a bunch of turns really fast. There's Valentine getting to go again. I don't understand. This is a very, after seeing how this team works, this is a cleave team if I ever saw it. Realistically, I should have put on my bruisers and called it a day. Because I would have broken through this and bruisers would have absolutely destroyed this one. I feel. There goes Cannon being absolutely crazy in PvP. Cannon is wonderful. And I had no idea that. I remember when Cannon first came out, everyone was talking so much smack about Cannon, it wasn't even funny. This team, I'm just going to cleave it. Look at that power difference. Realistically, if I can get before this is the problem. Valentine, if Valentine gets to go before you, you're toast. Because she messes up so much. Realistically, I probably don't even want to fight that. Because I don't have my Demiurge Vlada built up enough to do incredible damage. Yeah, don't get me wrong. 13,000 to 23,000 is really, really solid. The problem is my Nadia's damage is really low. My Charlotte's damage is really low. They're all really squishy because I haven't invested in them very much. I was mostly investing in PvE stuff before I realized that PvP in this game is kind of straightforward once you understand it. And that's the problem. Understanding it is the hard part, but once you do, you're fine. This middle team, I would love to fight this middle team. This middle team is a cleave. In my opinion. This middle team is cleave. So we're going to see if we can CC this team. I don't know if we're going to be able to, but I'm going to try. But this is also helping me learn, certain things aren't going to work the way I want it to. I would love to just hit this. Let's just see what happens. They're all frozen other than Veronica. Okay, cool. Now, realistically, Veronica's going to go. Then I'm going to be able to have these two go. Then my Dahlia is going to pop up again. But most likely than not, Veronica here is going to use Endurance Cannon. I don't want to deal with that. I really don't want to get hit by that. Endurance Cannon does a lot of damage. I don't want to deal with it. So if I can block it, I'm going to. And then cleanse some debuffs. Cool. This also attacks all enemies. And then this can freeze, if I remember correctly. Oh no. You have to burst 2 for it to freeze. But you can still do it. And like, yeah, oh no, I got counterattacked. That's going to happen. But now we can start actually getting rid of some things that we don't want to deal with. I don't want to deal with Noah here. Bye-bye. Alright. I'm going to do this because now what that does is it makes them unbuffable. Which is super nice. It means that Veronica's shield can only realistically go to her. Because she's going to cleanse those debuffs down. She's going to try to heal. It's going to, obviously she's going to heal a little bit of everybody. But now we get that proc, which is super, super helpful. And we're actually going to try to get rid of Tamara here. As long as we can. Oh. She's auto-locking into that. That's fine. I wish she wouldn't have, but that's fine. We're going to see what she hits. Honestly, hitting Christina is fine. Christina's kind of here to just take some damage. Cool. She actually managed to live that. And now Kennan's going to have a field day. There she goes. So now, realistically, we probably want to get rid of the Aste. So we're going to focus down the Aste as best we can. Because now that is all of Aste's cooldowns gone. And Dahlia's stuck taunted right now. And she's still stuck taunted. That's fine, I guess. But what we can do is we can just really set this up to just really hit the Aste here really hard. We're just going to try to hit everything with what we got. Guardian deliver punishment. You take some damage here. Cool. Kills Christina. I would rather Christina go down than like Dahlia. Even though Dahlia is taunted and basically stuck hitting her. I would rather have that than anything else. Now this is nice because it's going to cleanse that. It's going to cleanse the taunt, which is super nice. We have to break through here. That's the only issue that we're running into is we have to break through. Which is the point of Dahlia being here, because Dahlia can allow us to break through. The problem is they still have immunity up. So we have to be... we're just going to drop this because it's easy and it's a lot of damage. I know they have immunity, and that's what's going to happen with immunity. But it's the damage that we were going after. Honestly, hitting Cannon's fine. Cannon hitting you, I don't care about. If Cannon hits you, so be it. Cannon's going to hit you semi-decently hard and call it a day. But Aste's going to go, do some healing. Again, immunity is a big problem, but we should be able to get rid of the Aste here in a minute. Aste should be gone fairly soon. As long as we don't get taunted here. Perfect. So no taunt. This should kill the Aste. And then from that point on... Beautiful. From this point on, it's easy to just deal with Veronica here by herself. As soon as you get Veronica alone, she becomes much more easy to manage. We actually don't need to self-heal. I'll take the increased crit chance, though. I mean, like, once you get Veronica by herself, she's pretty easy to just kind of solo. Ow. Never mind. We might have a lot harder of a time doing this now. This is actually a really, really odd stalemate. This is actually like a really interesting stalemate here. Because realistically, we're not going to be able to break through Veronica's shield before she gets it back. We're probably not going to be able to break through Veronica's shield because her shield is completely based on her max HP, and she's able to just keep doing this. So it definitely hurts. But I think Veronica is going to go first. So we're going to do this. I hope Veronica goes first. Beautiful. Agile response. Because now we can cleanse that taunted debuff. Bam. Like, this is what we're going to end up doing for a while. Until, realistically, the timer hits 0. This is the kind of fight that we have to fight here. Because, unfortunately, we don't have another option. Because we're not going to be able to do enough damage to break through that shield. And we just have to hope that they also don't have enough damage to break through that shield. Like, we're whittling her down slowly but surely. It's just going to take a really long time because this is the kind of fight that you get in PvP now. You're going to get this kind of fight because your characters are just going to be able to sit on the board. Unless you're playing Cleave, this is what you're going to be able to do. This is a hard, like, little battle to do because you're having to just go back and forth with a defense boost that now she's taking less damage and she's taunting, so it makes it harder to do some special skills sometimes. Does she have... She's got 4 more turns until Endurance Cannon. That's right, because she just used it. Don't be afraid to always be checking that while you're doing this. It's super helpful to know, and it's super cool to be able to constantly be checking that so you know when to be worried about certain AoE attacks. Like, this is going to hurt a lot, but I know that I'm still fine. And we're genuinely, this is what we're waiting for. Duelist Pledge. We're waiting for that to just be at such a high number that we're fine. And then we're just going to use Maeva Invincibility, tank through it, and be fine. Because this is, I mean, we've both been at this same amount of HP for the longest time, and we haven't been able to really do a dent to each other. This is just the way the game works. Hey, there's a crit, but it doesn't matter because she still has infinite freaking HP. I'm going to do this, hoping that increase crit rate, or should I do the self-heal? I'm going to do the self-heal here. Mainly because I don't want, I really, as soon as, if cannon goes down, then I'm going to be in a real world of hurt. Just because then all my damage is going to drop. So he's still at 16%. So, like, this is genuinely the most frustrating battle ever. This is so annoying. This is absolutely annoying, and I hate it. %, still. 16% still. Oh, 14%. We did a whole 2% of damage there, guys. Woohoo. It only took us like 7 turns to do it. And hopefully this is some damage. Oh, we'll get some damage from the device right now. So we're going to try to break through as much of her shield as possible right now. Because we want this. Okay, she gets to... Okay. Whatever. Bam. Took some more health off. This is why having Dahlia alive still would be really helpful, because with Dahlia alive, we could still be doing freezes. We could be whittling her down. We could be doing a lot here. How many more turns? We got one more turn left. So I'm going to do this. We're going to self-heal here because I'm a loser. And this next turn, we have to be worried about Endurance Cannon. So we're going to Dreaming of You. Hopefully Veronica gets to go first. Oh my god, Maeva got to go first again. Whoopsies. Had I known that, I would have just basic attacked and then not wasted it. But, at the same time, oh well. Look at that damage. Now we're actually going to be able to hit her for a little bit. Ow. That hurt. Her strongest form of attack is Endurance Cannon. This is a battle that will... I don't know how long this fight has been going on for. I think we've been in this fight for 10 minutes now. I'm not even lying. I think we've been in this fight for 10 minutes. And there's not a lot I can do about this. This is just how the fight is. And unless I want to lose, I have to do this manually. Because I could set it to auto, but I feel like auto would mess this up. Because auto would be using Dreaming of You all the time. As soon as it got the opportunity to. And I don't want to do that. I simply am just trying to whittle this bitch down. There we go. 2%. 2%. Let's go. That's the damage we need. 2%. We're going to use this right now, though, because, frankly, I don't want to deal with it. And then we're going to self-heal. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Broke the barrier, but as soon as we break the barrier, guess what? She has another one. So don't get me wrong, Veronica is annoying to deal with in PvP. The problem is that most people nowadays also have just ways around her. Most of their Dahlias are built up better than mine, so you have natural ways to just bulldoze through her. My Dahlia is not built up, my Christina is not built up. Either one of them would have made this so much easier. Like, if Christina was here, she could have been doing some buffs. But there goes Veronica. We won, finally. It only took us 20 years. Can I actually... Oh, I wish I could see how long that battle was. Because that was a long-ass fight. That was a really long fight. I'm sorry you guys had to sit through that. Or if you skipped it, that's fine too. I don't really mind if you skipped it. You deserve to skip it because you did not deserve to deal with that. But anyway, I hope that kind of makes more sense about the positioning being 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it goes in that order, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it also just bases off on speed. And I hope that kind of going through these teams kind of helped you figure out what you're realistically going to be trying to do. CC, you're going to be slowing them down, trying to keep them from playing the game. Cleave, you're just going to kill them before they can kill you. And then Bruiser is to just sit on the board longer than they are so they don't get to play the game. That's what Bruiser does. I know I didn't really go over them very much, but this is basically what your traditional Bruiser team is going to look like. Maybe instead of Sterope, you're going to see someone like Gnosis Dahlia on there instead of Sterope. because Nocestolia is kind of bruisery, because if you build her the right way, she can kind of sit there for a really long time. That's kind of funny. But regardless of that, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I hope you guys found this somewhat entertaining and educational, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.